The National Super Alliance has now resolved to form the People's Assembly aimed at what they call the restoration of democracy in the country through peaceful demonstrations and an economic boycott. NASA leader Raila Odinga indicated the People's Assembly would present petitions for the establishment of the new outfit to govern Kenya to county assemblies for discussion and adoption. And as Chris Sero reports, NASA leaders have vowed not to recognize the election of President Uhuru Kenyatta and his government, which they claim is formed illegally.
NASA leader Raila Odinga, accompanied by one of the principals, Musalia Mudavadi, and some elected leaders, were at the Okoa Kenya offices in Lavington for the grand announcement and giving his supporters their next course of action after the IEBC declared President Uhuru Kenyatta as president-elect. And first, they poked holes in the just concluded repeat presidential poll.
The sham election portends a president who is in office unconstitutionally. You have a constitution with ambiguous provisions on the standards that elections must fulfill. The same constitution states that power can only be exercised by democratically elected leaders. If sham election is allowed to stand, what will stop the regime from conducting sham referenda to remove the constitutional provisions that they do not like, for example, term limits? Nothing.
While terming the repeat election as a sham, Odinga indicated that they will not take any directives from the Jubilee regime.
We in NASA are resolute that this sham election cannot and will not be allowed to stand. We will not allow two megalomaniacs to destroy the dream of freedom and democracy that generations have sacrificed and worked so hard for. If there is no justice for the people, let there be no peace for the government.
Further, he announced the formation of the People's Assembly that will consist of elected leaders, the civil society, religious leaders, economic interest groups, as well as the youth.
NASA has two organs: the Coalition's Parliamentary Party, PP, and the National Resistance Movement. The resistance movement shall be responsible for implementing a vigorous positive political action program that includes economic boycotts, peaceful processions, picketing, and other legitimate forms of protest.
Without announcing when they will be staging countrywide demonstrations, Odinga asked his supporters to be ready to restore democracy in the country.
Peaceful protest is an inalienable political right. As an inalienable political right, is one of the most important freedoms that we have secured for ourselves in our 2010 Constitution. Every person has a right peaceably and unwarned to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions to public authorities. That is Article 37. Before engaging in any dialogue, we must also be clear what differences we are sitting down to resolve.
NASA has also resolved to form a task force to come up with electoral amendments that will come with changes in the IEBC as well as safeguarding devolution.
We anticipate that the task force recommendations will include constitutional amendments that will be presented to the People's Assembly for adoption and thereafter to the county assemblies for ratification.
NASA still insists that they are not interested in challenging the re-election of President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta by filing an election petition at the Supreme Court. Chris Sero, KTN News.